Okay, sir, it's working. We'll be on in just a second.
Okay, Mario, you let me know. You got a little bit of an echo.
Everybody turn off their mics except for the speakers.
Okay, so we're ready to go. Sorry about that.
Okay, that's all right. And Mario, you said we got a full board, right?
Yes, 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 sir. We're good to go. We're on YouTube.
Okay, folks. I want to welcome you to the Fabens Board of Trustees meeting dated 12/16/2020. We will call this board into order at 6:47. It's at 6:47. Mr. Flores.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag and pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you. Okay. Agenda item number 2. We got communication and visitors board agenda item. Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. President Sepulveda, members of the board, Dr. Vigil. Tonight we have 3 comments from community members. The first one is from Eric Rodriguez representing Toshiba. His comment is in reference to board agenda item 5D, and here are his comments. I wanted to clarify a couple of things before the Board of Trustees meeting on Wednesday. Toshiba would like these questions submitted for the board meeting as well. Did Spectrum propose 73 units in this bid? Number 2, Toshiba quoted copies included per month. Did Spectrum include this amount of copies in the bid? Monocopier pool, monthly pages included 395,017. Color copier pool, monthly pages included 22,757. Mono printer pool, monthly pages included 77,048. Color printer pool, monthly pages included 24,021. Toshiba can lower the amount of copies included, which significantly lowers the monthly cost. Number 3, Toshiba included console finishers with every Toshiba system. I noticed that Spectrum provided an inner finisher at the administration building, which costs less. Did Spectrum provide only inner finishers for all systems? Toshiba can modify the quote and put in inner finishers, which will lower the monthly cost. Number 4, Toshiba included fax boards with every Toshiba system. Did Spectrum include a fax for every system? Toshiba can modify the quote and accurately put like-for-like amounts of fax boards that Spectrum included. By doing so, could also lower the monthly cost. And number 5, Toshiba would like to know if this was a like-for-like bid. The next comment is from Brenda Jimenez. This is also in relation to the printer contract 2020 to 2024, excuse me. And the comment is, after many years in partnership with Xerox and conducting numerous walkthroughs to help the school district save money, why has the decision been made to spend over $12,490.44 a year and approximately $49,961.76 more over the life of the contract with a different vendor? We at Xerox want the best for students, faculty, and staff, therefore decided to provide the district with a plan to continue saving in order for Fabens ISD to allocate funds for technology needed, such as Chromebooks, hotspots, etc. And the last comment comes from our principal, Karina Reese. Good evening. Thank you, President Sepulveda, board members, and Dr. Vigil for this opportunity to express our gratitude. O'Donnell Intermediate greatly appreciates all you have done for our district, campus, and community. We would like to give a special thank you this holiday season to Mrs. Garovitia for making and delivering 100 masks for all of our campus personnel to be able to have 2 each. We are very appreciative for the handmade masks, but equally appreciative to have been thought of so kindly. Again, thank you to all of you from O'Donnell, and we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And she included a picture of how they wrapped the masks for the staff. That is the end of the community comments for this evening.
And thank you. And Ms. Rosemary Gallo-Vitia, thank you very much for your donation. That's awesome. Now we'll go to agenda item 3. Agenda item 3 states the following.
I meant to say that through the chair, I just couldn't get myself unmuted. But I want to share a great big thank you for allowing me to come to your campus and share my masks. I'm just worried about taking care of all the teachers. They're my little children too. So you're so welcome. Thank you, Ms. Reese.
Thank you, Ms. Rosemary Gallo-Vitia, because as you know, especially in these particular times, we have to do anything and everything in our communities to keep us safe. And this is but a small gesture, which in the long term is a very large gesture on your part. So thank you. Thank you so much. Third agenda item, Superintendent Report, Board Agenda Item. Dr. Vigil.
President Sepulveda and board members, our first item on the superintendent report is the El Paso County Interlocal Cooperation Act, Operation Connectivity. This is a thank you to the county, and Judge Ricardo Samaniego was not able to be with us today. We do have a representative from the county judge's office. We have Betsy Keller here. She is the El Paso County Chief Administrator. And I want to remind the board members that through a match grant, initially we did receive $30,267 from the county as matching funds with CARES money that they received for Operation Connectivity. And most recently, very quickly, it came upon us. We were able to apply for the prior purchase reimbursement. As you know, this was brought forth to you, where TEA will reimburse 75% of the allocation that we submitted on our application. And the county is generously going to provide the 25% matching. which amounts to $71,509.06. And so wanted to take this opportunity to thank the representative, Mrs. Betsy Keller, and just tell her on behalf of the school district and the school children how appreciative we are of this generosity and our ability to provide devices and internet connection for our students.
Good evening, Dr. Vigil and board and trustees. This is Betsy Keller from El Paso County. On behalf of El Paso County Commissioners Court, working with our partners and expanding connectivity we know is vital to our economy and to our education and our youth and to public health. And I can assure you that Commissioners Court is very supportive and appreciative of our partnership with Fabens ISD. You all are near and dear to us. And personally, I can also tell you that it is such a pleasure to work with Dr. Vigil, and I appreciate her reaching out and the quick responses and being able to work together so collaboratively. And again, we thank you for this partnership and for this recognition.
Let me,
To the chair.
go ahead, Mr. Morales.
This is Mr. Morales. Ms. Keller, this is Mr. Morales. And I just want to say that we want to thank you on behalf of the Fabens ISD for your support and for everything you're doing for the district. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Yes, and Ms. Keller, and I also wanted to let you know that when it comes to our community, our children down here, staff, teachers, we know the county has a very soft place in their heart for us. So again, Ms. Keller, thank you so much.
It's our pleasure, sure. Thank you so much. I always enjoy when I get to come out to Fabens for meetings or to visit the park. We really, really appreciate all you all are doing.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Ms. Keller, this is Rolando Flores. I just wanted to mirror what everybody else is saying. Really appreciate the support. Our county judge, Samaniego. I mean, he's. I can't tell you. I've told him this, but I want everybody out here in YouTube land to know that this Commissioners Court is really supported Fabens ISD. Obviously, you know you heard the numbers. I mean, they $30,000, $30,267. Then the match for 25%. I mean, this is amazing, and it's a testament to Judge Samaniego's leadership. And it's a testament to our superintendent's leadership because we were able to get these things done. You know, this is a, you know, they're very challenging times. We all know that, but I can't express my thanks enough to you, Ms. Keller, to the Commissioners Court and our county judge. And so just, I hope that you will tell them that we really appreciate this.
Yes, sir. We'll be glad to do so.
Anybody else?
Thank you all
Yeah,
much.
Good Chair.
yes.
Good evening, Mrs. Keller. This is Sylvia Gonzalez. I also want to elaborate a little bit on thanking you and the Commissioners Court and Judge Samaniego for being so kindly and meeting our needs at this time. We struggle to where, you know, in our population, but at this time, the community also is very encouraged, and we would like for them to know that, you know, that their commissioners and with their judge and their representatives are doing the best they can for us here in the Valley. Again, thank you very much, and please share this information with them. I know sometimes it's hard for them to get away, come and visit us, but I know that their hearts and their minds and their thoughts are with us when they're making decisions for Fabens and also the other small communities that the county has. Thank you very much and have a nice evening. And thank you again for sharing a little bit of the wealth from the county for our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and through the chair, likewise. I would like to thank you for thinking about our community. And it's like that old cliche, it takes a village. Well, we thank you for extending your help to our FISD community. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And Ms. Keller, thank you so much. You know how appreciative we are. And especially all these times, this particular type of times that we're under, and we're under stress and whatnot. So Dr. Samaniego, Judge Samaniego, yourself, and Commissioner's Court, you guys have a special place for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You all have a good evening, and we know that we will get through this all together. So thank you so much.
Thank you once again, Mrs. Keller. This does conclude this item, and I'll move on to the next item. This is a short presentation from Walden University. We have a partnership update, and we have Daryl Luzo. Oh, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Daryl, please forgive me. Daryl Luzo and Dr. Steve Knip joining us, and they will be showing a very short presentation. Steve, you're on mute whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Yes, it's my pleasure to speak with the board this evening, and I know Daryl is getting on.
I'm here now, yes. I'm with you now,
okay.
Steve. Thank you.
All right, Daryl, I'll give it back to you. Thanks.
No problem. I first of all, it really is our honor to be with you tonight. And I am going to share some slides on my screen here with all of you, and want to thank you again for inviting us to give you an update of the work that we've been doing and the impact we hope to be making. This is a wonderful partnership between Walden University and Fabens ISD. And I want to thank Dr. Vigil and Ms. Gonzalez for inviting us to be a part of this endeavor to leverage our experience at Walden University. It's over 25-year history of not only delivering online programs to K-12 teachers and administrators, but educating many teachers and administrators. We have over 50,000 alumni of our graduate school and undergraduate college of education and leadership, named after former Secretary of Education Richard W. Riley. So the Riley School of Education and Leadership has hundreds of faculty with expertise in not only educating many teachers and administrators in the K-12 space, but in delivering those programs online and helping teachers and administrators around the country successfully integrate online learning into what they do. Now, we've been doing that for 2.5 decades, but as you all know, 9 months ago, this took on a whole new light as COVID-19 required nearly every educational institution to transition to delivering education in an online format. So at Dr. Vigil's request and through the partnership, we conducted a gap analysis, essentially using a readiness evaluation tool that we've created at Walden University. It includes over 70 individual items that assesses level of readiness of your schools, of your district, of your classrooms In those that we had the opportunity to interview indicate their level of agreement on a 1 to 3 scale, disagreeing or strongly agreeing or being neutral about various items of readiness, covering 9 different topic areas. And you see those here on the screen: technology and infrastructure readiness, teacher and student readiness, the family and community readiness. You can see diversity, equity, and inclusion, administrative readiness, and so forth, all in an effort to identify what the particular strengths and areas of opportunity are for a particular school or district. And in this case, we had the opportunity to interview all 4 of your school principals and 1 teacher designated for each school. And I'd like to share with you the results of what we learned. And probably the most important thing to share with the board is how uniformly the principals and teachers expressed to us how very supported they felt by the district office. At a time when so many of us are challenged, the stress and the anxiety of it all, without fail and without being asked as part of the interview, it was just something that each principal and each teacher did convey to us. They were highly engaged in their work with us to review the various readiness items and very appreciative of the time that we were offering as a service to the community for all of you and for the students and families you serve. Everyone also acknowledged that things have greatly improved in the past 8 or 9 months since the pandemic hit and the need to quickly pivot to this emergency remote teaching and virtual learning. And they all saw the efforts as an ongoing work in progress. Everyone shared with us, and this is true of everyone we've worked with this initiative at Walden University, not only at Fabens, but with other schools and school districts. We're also outreaching to historically Black colleges and universities. And without fail, everyone with whom we're working, all partners, are sharing the challenge of time, the stress and the anxiety of all that, the time crunch of trying to teach and deliver important instruction to students as we always have, and in a newer environment for most, this online digital environment. There were findings across the 9 major topic areas that really fell into one of 3 buckets. There were those areas, those readiness areas that were rated relatively high on this 3-point scale, rated 2.5 or higher. Your technology and infrastructure readiness today at Fabens received very high marks from the principals and teachers. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, very high marks. And administrative readiness, a belief that the superintendent's office and the centralized services being provided were meeting the need. And then there were those that kind of fell into that middle range, 2 to 2.5 stars, if you will. Student readiness, digital instructional design readiness, that's the ability for teachers to create meaningful lessons for online delivery. Funding readiness through Dr. Vihil's efforts, the board's efforts, and the community outreach. The feeling was that funding was adequate to meet the need at this time. And academic policies and procedures, modifying those to meet the needs of an online environment. Again, very well received and rated very high. So that left a couple of areas where the teachers and principals we spoke with thought that there could be some opportunity for improvement or for attention. One was in the area of teacher readiness, specifically around some of the instructional elements of assessing student learning in an online environment, as we'll talk about in a moment. And family and community readiness, again, highlighting the need to continue to support parents and families as they in turn support their children learning from home. And it's that area with the average rating below 2 that we have decided, along with Dr. Vihil, to focus our efforts in the weeks and months ahead in our ongoing support to Fabens ISD. The identification of those highest priorities and proposed solutions, I'd like to turn the time over to my colleague, Dr. Knipe, to share with you what we've decided to do in, again, concert with Dr. Vihil to support the district, your students, families, teachers. Steve?
Thanks, Daryl, and thank you, board and Dr. Vihil, for allowing us to work with your students and teachers as we try to help in this weird time. that we're all living in. So one of the things that we are going to be doing is that I have identified from our award-winning faculty 4 individual faculty members, one of which will be assigned as the liaison to each of your schools. Now, they will not be only working with that particular school, they will be working as a team, and they will be moving back and forth depending on what the school needs. But we have people who are experts in assessment. We have people who are experts in dealing with the stress issues that we're all experiencing. We have teachers that are experts in developing and delivering engaged online learning, knowing that your district, like every other district in the country, is having some issues around that. And all of them are parents themselves and have an interest in making sure that parents become the key individual in becoming partners with the teachers. So, you know, we've talked about it takes a whole village to raise a child, and that probably is true, but it definitely takes a whole village to educate a child. So we're going to be working with your school teachers, your school principals, to help them help the parents become that line of defense and that support that the students need. So in a nutshell, that's sort of what our 4 people are going to be doing. They will be working and assigned to work with the particular school, but working in a team effort, because that's really important, to work as a team. Daryl?
Thank you, Steve. Steve is our Associate Dean of the College of Education and Leadership that I mentioned earlier. And we have focused our efforts, again, on helping teachers learn how best to assess student learning in digital online learning environments, as you see on the screen, and to help parents and families as they support their children's learning in at-home virtual environments. The good news, as Steve alluded to, we have the expertise in these topic areas, and we are prepared to provide solutions in concert, again, with Dr. Vigil and the team that take into account the time crunch, the anxiety that teachers and students and families are feeling. We decided a one-size-fits-all approach really isn't the way to go. So we want to customize the solutions for elementary, for intermediate, for middle, and for high school. And hence that decision to assign our award-winning faculty to each of the schools. The individual we're assigning to high school has a high school background before becoming a professor. The same is true for the elementary, intermediate, and middle school in your district. And, you know, taking into account these time crunches that everybody's feeling, we're not going to put on a series of 2-hour or half-day webinars on each topic. Instead, we're going to create very easy to consume and digest infographics and pre-recorded knowledge bites, 5 to 7 minute videos of all of our faculty with expertise in these areas, sending messages, tools, tips, and strategies for teachers and administrators, as well as for parents and families, some of which we've already shared with Dr. Vigil and the team. So we're going to be sharing a variety of web-based solutions, Walden University created tools, and even some well-vetted, curated third-party solutions that we think address both of these high-priority topic areas of digital online learning assessment and supporting families as they in turn support their children. So with the time that permits, with your schedule today, we are available to answer any questions you may have, to give any additional details. Again, I want to thank Dr. Vigil, a wonderful partner. Walden University just launched this new outreach at no charge to a select number of districts and HBCUs this year. In fact, this fall is when we launched, and our very first school district selected out of those that had indicated an interest is Fabens ISD. So we're learning from the experience of working with you, and it really has been our pleasure and continues to be our pleasure in the weeks and months ahead to deliver this service and this outreach to Fabens ISD.
Thank you. Dr. V? I think she's muted.
In the few meetings that we've had, I just want to thank Daryl and Steve for being so intuitive about our own needs, our timelines, and always available for us. It's been truly supportive, a supportive effort, and another opportunity to say thank you to a great partnership that has already begun and will continue to flourish, I'm sure.
Thank you, Dr. Vigil. Our pleasure.
Anybody else?
Through the chair.
Yes, go ahead. Mr.
This is Mr. Benjamin Morales. The ones that that were on the red, let's say red zone, red dot, would it be fair to say that this pandemic caught the students, the parents and the teachers by surprise? And the first time virtual learning from pre-K to 12th grade, and all the stress and anxiety, it's been piling up through the months. But like they say, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? And we want to thank you for the partnership that you offered here at Fabens ISD, and we have the trust in you that you're gonna come up on top with the teachers, the students, and the community here in Fabens ISD. Thank you very much.
We will do all that we can. Again, it's our pleasure. And yes, what you're mentioning is true around the world. Everyone was caught off guard. Even those that have fully online programs were not expecting to deliver those to every one of their students. So I will tell you of the many schools we have spoken with, and in selecting Fabens as one of our very first partners, there's a spirit in your district, a real positive, forward-looking spirit. And it's really been fulfilling to Dr. Knipe and to me to be a part of that and to feel of that spirit from your principals and your teachers, and of course, Dr. Vigil, who carries that banner of a positive approach to things each and every day during very challenging times. So I applaud you all and commend you for having a district that is so forward-looking, so positive, and that has a real spirit of togetherness and desire to really make a difference in students' lives. It shows. It really does show.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I just wanted to piggyback on what everybody else is saying. Really appreciate the support. Again, I can't speak enough about the leadership of our superintendent, Dr. Vigil. I mean, it's always a pleasure for us to partner with higher education, and this is good. This is really good, and I thank everybody that's involved. Because we're just, I don't want to say we're in the dark, but I just appreciate these things happening behind the scenes, and this is really good. Really appreciate your staff, Dr. Vigil, and everybody that works partners with you all to get these things done. So again, appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you all.
Mr. Flores, I would also like to say that the attitude that you're talking about is a can-do attitude, and the board is integral to that attitude. You guys and ladies are the ones that are setting that policy, and it trickles down to the superintendent, the principals, the teachers, and the kids. It's that can-do. And, our task at Walden is to make sure that we help them enhance that attitude.
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Thank you all again.
Through the chair, and I want to add that the can-do attitude comes from that we are Americans and Mexicans. So we're Americans that can. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, ma'am.
Love that.
Dr. Vigil, is it information only?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you,
Good.
representatives from Walden University and the partnership that we've established with them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
board members.
wonderful evening. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
Definitely. Goodbye.
Families, stay safe.
Thanks.
President Sepulveda, we are ready to move on to the next item. This is a presentation where you'll receive some information about the Girls of the Valley Conference that took place. It was a STEM conference, and Mrs. Banuelas, our own Mrs. Banuelas from Fabens High School will provide a background, and then we'll hear from other guests. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Julieta Banuelas.
Good evening, Dr. Vigil, President Mr. Sepulveda, and board members. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. And I would like to talk about the STEM conference that we had this year. A little bit of background. So for the past, I would say 4 years ago, starting 4 years ago, Eastwood High School from El Paso, the El Paso area, was the one inviting us to their Girl Powered event. And we were happy to go. And our female students that were able to go had a lot of fun. And so that happened for 2 years. So Eastwood High School would invite us over and we would go. And the whole point of the Girl Powered event is a nationwide event where we are allowing our female students to be exposed to STEM careers. We have noticed in our STEM program that the number of females going from middle school to high school decreased dramatically. And so we don't just see that in our STEM program at Fabens High School, but we see in every STEM program in the schools that are STEM designated. But that also happens in the workforce. So you might be familiar that we have a lot of females, more than 50% of females in the medical fields. But when you're talking about computer program, when you're talking about engineering, when you're talking about sciences, technology, that number significantly drops to 30%, okay? Out of that 30%, only 7% are Hispanic females. Let me repeat that, 7% are Hispanic females. And so our whole mission through Girl Powered event organization is to expose our female students from 4th grade all the way to 12th grade to say, I can do this, to have the confidence and say a diverse group of people can be more innovative and more creative in coming up with the solutions of this world. So the whole point of our Girl Powered event is to have these girls and have them be confident in themselves and say, you know what, I can do these STEM careers, whatever they choose to go into what STEM career. And so 2 years ago, the Girl Powered event actually emailed us and said, would you like to host your own event? And so last year we hosted our own event. And of course, this was outside of COVID. So we were able to host it there physically, and we were able to reach about 200 girls from 4th grade all the way to 12th grade, where we had activities that were hands-on, including programming, doing electrical circuits, writing their name in binary code, driving robots, programming robots, doing code.org, flying rockets. Okay, so it was all a hands-on event. This year we had to go virtual, and with our help with our sponsors, UTEP Tech E, UTEP Mechanical Engineering, UNM, United Way, we were all able to pull this off virtually. And so we had a total of 114 girls that attended our event, and not only Fabens District, but also from Fort Hancock and Tornillo ISD. Why did we invite these districts is because when we were going to Eastwood, we noticed that these districts were not attending these events. And we said, you know what, we are way out in the lower valley. And so we honestly have a little subtitle we call ourselves Girls of the Valley event through the Girl Powered event, and through the help of our STEM coordinators from each campus here at Fabens, we're able to organize and have this event going on. In this event on November 20th, we had professors from St. Mary's University present to our female girls, our female students. We also had senior mechanical engineering students from UTEP. We had students from UNM that were part of the Society of Women Engineers. And we also had graduates from UNM that are now PhD majors that were dreamers and are now working for Sandia Labs. Aside from that, we also couldn't not include our female students that graduated class 2019, who are now alumni of Fabens ISD, and they are now in their second year of biomedical engineering, computer science engineering, and veterinary school. So it was a great pleasure to host this event and to reach all these girls. And we hope that next year we are back in our physical self and we would be able to reach a lot more students. So I know we have a student here who attended one of our events and has been part of our STEM program through the middle school.
Awesome. You know,
Go ahead. I think we have another speaker.
Iris? Yeah, go ahead, Iris.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Iris Avila, and I'm an 8th grader at the Fabens Middle School. This year was my second time attending the Girls of Valley Girl Powered field trip. And although it was run a little differently this year due to the pandemic, and as most things are different this year, I was still able to gain a lot of information from this event. Starting with the event itself and its reasoning. I really enjoyed the fact that in this event, I was able to hear from very empowering women, to reach very young minds like mine and my classmates. It really helped me gain a sense of direction for as far as what I want to be when I grow up. And although I'm not entirely sure as to what that is at the moment, events like these are going to help me decide. Secondly, I'd like to touch on how in this event, I was able to hear from people of all ages share their experience with STEM. So not only was I able to hear from women who were already working in the STEM field and doing amazing things like building rockets and purifying the water that we drink, I was also able to hear from girls still in college studying to be something just as amazing. So it was really nice to hear from both perspectives. So all in all, I really did enjoy this event, and I am very thankful to my teacher, Miss Luna. She's my STEM teacher. She's been my STEM teacher for 3 years. This is my 3rd year in her class. And also my school for providing me with these kinds of experiences. I was very inspired, and I'm looking forward to see what next year's Girl Power has to offer.
Anybody else?
Are there any other speakers, Ms. Panuelos, or is anybody else going to speak? Iris, do you know?
I think that would be all.
Okay.
You know, when we ventured off a while back, introducing the STEM program, and one of the areas that we needed to touch on was our young ladies. And our young ladies have responded like they haven't responded in a while. For engineering, technology, mathematics, there is nothing these young minds cannot handle, especially here in this particular arena. And I am so proud. I am so proud to have them here in our district. And I look at it and it says, Girls of the Valley Conference presentation of the Valley Conference. That has something to say about that too, which is awesome. Anybody else?
Mija, Iris, you're such a good speaker, Mija. Keep it up. You're on your way to high places. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just wanted, as you can, if you watch if you look at your screen, Dr. Vigila's been smiling this whole time, so. I know she's very proud. Iris, we're very proud of you. Ms. Manuelas, I mean, you guys do a great job. You know, and just like Mr. Sepulveda says, you know, the name Girls of the Valley, I love it. I love it. That's really, that really hits home. And I'm really happy that we've included Tornillo and Fort Hancock, because we always do, and you know, sometimes we get mud in our face, but we're still going to include them because you know, because that's just the way we are. But really neat stuff, and I love to see our kids like Iris. You know, I love to see that. That's really it. You know, that's the paycheck we get for being on the board, because we don't get a paycheck, obviously, but that's our paycheck right there. So I love it. So just great job to all of you.
I would like to thank the board members, Dr. Vigil, everybody in our administration. We've always had so much great support. This little baby of STEM program started really small, and now it's become really big. As you all well know, that we have a STEM coordinator at each campus. So at the elementary, we have Ms. Terry Martinez. At O'Donnell, we have Ms. Rebecca Marquez. At the middle school, we have Ms. Ana Luna, and myself and Ms. Karina Melendez at the high school. And so I could not have done it without their help and the support of our admin. And you guys are right. Iris is one of our great students that we have here. And we see that in the students that are in the program and our everyday students. The program just gives them a little step up and more involvement within the school, but these events will continue. We'll bring these events to our district. And like you said, our community with Fort Hancock, Clint, all the Lower Valley schools, we are all integrated. Our kids come and go. We are all part of that community. And so we hope that one day we will all be together hosting these events for all our students, and especially our female students, because we know we can have more Hispanic representation in those STEM fields. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, and I'd like to thank Mrs. Bañuelas for her tireless efforts and her team. They are always looking for opportunities to flourish, to make the STEM program flourish. And Iris, just keep doing what you're doing. You know, as a proud mother of an environmental scientist, and two, my dissertation was about Hispanic females choosing STEM as their career pathway. I know that we're underrepresented in that area. And so it's going to take people like you, Iris, to break the glass ceiling and do anything that you put your mind to. I am smiling, Mr. Flores, because this is my work. This is my work. Thank you very much for that presentation.
Thank you for having me.
Anybody else?
Through the chair.
Yes, please.
This is Mr. Morales. Iris, this is Mr. Morales, and I want to thank you for your presentation, and just think that there's unlimited possibilities out there, and just keep going forward. And thank you very much for being with us today at this meeting. And I want to thank Ms. Bañuelas too for what you're doing at Fabens ISD. Thank you for all you're doing for our students to plan ahead and you know, to be high in their education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. Anybody else? Okay, Dr. Reed.
This concludes the portions of the superintendent report, Mr. Sepulveda.
Thank you. And this was information only?
Yes, sir.
Okay, our next agenda item of our Board of Trustees is the public hearing.
No, consent agenda.
The what?
Consent agenda number 4.
Yes, the consent agenda. Sorry about that. It is. Dr. Reed.
Mr. Sepulveda and board members, administration recommends approval of consent agenda items as presented.
Make the motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Morales. Discussion? Being no discussion. We'll open it for a motion. That is right. I'm not going for a motion. Okay. Let's call the question on it. Gonzalez? Are you muted, Mr. Gonzalez? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Mr. Sepulveda, we can't hear you.
Mr. Escobar?
Yes.
Mr. Morales?
Aye.
Mr. Spence?
Aye.
Okay. Ms. Gallo-Avitia?
Aye.
Mr. Flores?
Aye.
Mr. Sepulveda? Aye. 7-0. Motion passed. Okay, looks. Board of Trustees. Board business, board agenda item, public hearing. Dr. Vigil.
President Sepulveda, before I begin with my presentation, I would like to call on a familiar face. Dr. Dino Coronado is with us today, and he has a few words to present to the board members at this time. Dr. Coronado?
Can you hear us, Dr. Coronado?
Okay, there we go.
All righty.
How's everybody doing? So, Board President Sepulveda, Board Trustees, Dr. Vigil, it's nice to see you, sort of, but I hope you're doing very well. The goal of a TEA monitor is to be unemployed by the district, and I'm I guess happy to say that Fabens I'm happy to say that Fabens has been released from monitoring, and I am unemployed with Fabens. So that's a good thing. I just want to congratulate the board and Dr. Vigil and her entire staff and cabinet for making leaps and bounds on the financial readiness of the district. A lot of it was, you know, a lot of the stuff that happens in a district is seen by everybody. And so one of the things is always about following the money. And so I'd like to congratulate the team, and it is truly a team effort for Fabens and all districts to really watch where that money's going. And so you've made some great strides in this last year. And I mean, going from a 58 to an 86 is huge. So I just, you know, there's some areas of improvement, but I'd like to say that most of the areas that really needed to be improvement were improved and were addressed right away. And I just want to commend and congratulate Dr. Vigil, her cabinet, and then for the board for supporting that effort. So again, subject to your questions, that's really all I had to say. And I live 9 miles door to door from Fabens, so I'm just down the street. If you ever need anything, I'm always available to this Cotton Valley community. I just want to wish you all the best of luck, and I make myself available to you as you see fit. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Coronel. And you know, these have been trials and errors that we're going through, and we managed to get through it. And it's a great rating, and it was a lot of hard knocks, but we managed to work ourselves through it. And all this is in regards to not us, but our communities, our children, our students, our staff, our teachers. So again, Dr. Coronado, thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Through the chair.
Yes, please.
Dr. Coronado, this is Mr. Morales.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for your service and being a great help here at Fabens ISD and getting us from, I would say, from almost the very bottom to where we're at right now. I want to thank you for being there for us, and thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead.
Dr. Coronado, I really appreciate your hard work here at Fabens ISD. You were part of this team. I never viewed you as a TEA monitor because, I felt like you're part of you're part of this team, and you helped us get where we needed to be. I never thought we'd be in this position, but the thing is we were, and I think it was just a really good job on your part to get us where we needed to. I just can't say enough, but I really do appreciate your to me, it wasn't just, you weren't just doing it wasn't a job, you kind of went the extra mile for us. There was times where I spoke to you at 9 o'clock at night. So I think that just goes to show that you earned your paycheck here. So really appreciate it, sir. And I know where you are, I know where you live and all that. So we'll be seeing you soon.
All right. Thank you.
At this time, I will continue with the public hearing, and also thanking Dr. Coronado. He is a true confidant and mentor and supporter, and I continue to reach out to him, and I know that he will always be available for the Fabens Independent School District. So thank you very much, Dr. Coronado.
Mr. Chairman, one last thing. I'm sorry, Dr. Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Sylvia Gonzalez just sent me a message because she's got some audio issues, but she just wanted to thank Dr. Coronado for all his support and guidance to our schools and our community. She wanted to make sure that you got that. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward for this public hearing, board members, you did receive this in your backup. And I'll go over the portion related to the first rating. Mr. Dominguez, if you would please scroll down to the first page. And so on the first page, what I'll point out is that there is the scoring, the numbers that will determine the points and ultimately the rating. At the very bottom of page 27 in your board book, underneath that chart, it does say, just to reiterate, the district's 2019-2020 rating based on the school year 2018-2019 data was a B, or above standard, with a score of 86 out of 100. On the next page, what you'll see is a comparison of ratings for the districts within Region 19 for the past 3 years. And so you see where we fall in line with the districts from Region 19. We're going to go on to the next page, and the next 3 pages actually is the actual document. It's the first rating, as you will find. It is for open to the public, that this document that you can receive through the Texas Education Agency. Here we have a copy for you, and we'll be going over some of these indicators. You'll note that there's 15 indicators that comprise the first rating. And of course, once again, at the end, it will show that it indicates that our score is an 86. Moving on to the next chart that you see, this is a breakdown of the critical indicators. And what it also shows is a comparison of the same indicators. Nothing has changed in the last 3 years for 2017-18, 2018-2019, and 2019-2020. And so some of the answers obviously are a yes or no to receive the points for that indicator, and others are an actual numerical number. So if you'll look on the next page, when we get to the solvency indicators, you'll notice that there's a highlight of numbers 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This is where we see a change in number from last year's score to this year's score. And in her previous report, Mrs. Copeland made some recommendations. She spotlighted these indicators as a way to start to move toward a higher rating. And so there was a lot of effort here, and it shows where you see the difference in the score from last year to this year. And so I'm very happy to report that all of these numbers that are highlighted for the highlighted indicators is an increase from the previous year's score. So we'll be looking at those that had a change a little bit more closely. So we go to the next page, and we're going to look a little bit more closely at some of these indicators. So indicator 6 is one of those indicators where we did go up from 0 points last year to 4 points this year. And in the middle is a description, as noted in the calculation detail above. The mathematical breakdown for this calculation resulted in 54.4479, which is between 45 and 60, resulting in a score of 4. And so we're always looking to get better. And so the next sentence does illustrate what it's going to take to get to a score of a 10. With these numbers, in order to have received the full 10 points, either current assets would have needed to be 5,600,000 or more, with the same expenditures. And so that kind of gives you a ballpark of what we're working toward. Certainly you can see the comparison in the table at the bottom of page 34 to the one right above it. And you see that we had less cash and equivalents, and that's what resulted in a score of 0. Last year we didn't make the 30-point cutoff. So this is indicator 6 is talking about the number of days of cash on hand. And so you're going to hear a lot of reference to cash on hand, revenue, and expenditures. These are the things that we have to keep a very, very close eye on in order to continue this improvement. On the next page, we see a breakdown of indicator number 7. This is measuring the current assets to the current liabilities, and the ratio to, is it sufficient to cover short-term debt? You'll notice that this is also an indicator where we went from 0 to 4 points compared to last year. The note in the middle, as noted in the calculation detail above, the mathematical breakdown for this calculation resulted in 1.6844, which was less than 2, resulting in a score of 4. In order to have received the full 10 points, either current assets would have needed to be $5,467,485 more than what's currently listed, or current liabilities would have needed to be $1,815,777,000 less than they were to what is shown on the table. Again, this indicates that there is room for improvement, and it indicates that we're on the right track. And this is a good time to remind everyone that these are some of the superintendent constraints that we talked about related to finances. The next indicator that we'll take a look at is indicator number 8. This indicator is asking, was the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets for the school district sufficient to support long-term solvency? And so here we did make an increase, a jump from 6 points last year to 8 points this year. You'll notice that we, let me read what's below the table first. Although the threshold for 5-year % increase in students remained at 0.07, the long-term liabilities decreased by $1,458,482, and total assets increased by over $2 million. In order to have received the full points, long-term liabilities would not have been able to exceed 25,000. And so I'm trying to point out here the calculations for continuing our improvement. This was one of the indicators that you'll notice that there's 2 ways that they can calculate the points, that we're eligible to receive the points. In this indicator, you'll notice that on the row that says mathematical breakdown, we met that range for 8 points through the first method for this indicator. And last year, we also met it for 6 points. So again, room to grow here, but these are the things that we're looking at. All of the indicators have a very, very descriptive formula as to how they arrive at those points. And it gives us a roadmap as to where we need to focus our efforts.
Through the chair, and sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Vigil, but you had quoted at 25,000 and it says 25 million.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. 25 million is correct. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to indicator number 9. Indicator number 9 is also an indicator where there are 2 formulas by which a district can receive points. And you'll notice that the determination of points for this indicator is either all in or 0. And so last year we did not receive the 10 points for this indicator. This is, the question is asking, did the school district's general fund revenues equal or exceed expenditures? I go back to Mrs. Copeland always reminding us that we have to generate more revenue than our expenditures. And so we've really done a good job of, the team has taken a great links of looking at revenue coming in as well as our expenditures. And so this is an indicator where we met the range with the first calculation. And so we did receive the 10 points, and compared to 0, that was a big jump for us. So we're glad that we have worked very hard on this indicator. The next indicator, indicator number 10, was the debt service coverage ratio sufficient to meet the required debt service? So you'll see what the calculation resulted in 1.6076, which was more than 1.20, resulting in a score of 10. This is another indicator where we made a big jump from a score of a 2 last year to 10 this year. So an increase in total revenues and lower debt service fund balance contributed to a score of 10 for this indicator. Again, the first indicators are really a good map source for us so that we see where it is that we need to focus our efforts. This does conclude the first report for our public hearing. I did not hear any questions from the public regarding the first report. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time if any board members have any questions. I'm sorry, I will also say that the required disclosures that you see scrolling through are required to be on our website. One example is the superintendent's employment contract, which is already posted on the district website. This entire report was on the submitted to you as backup, and it will be posted on our district website for the public to review. At this time, I'll take any questions from the board members, and hopefully I can answer them.
Any questions?
This was an information item and a public hearing.
Ms. Gonzalez. From our audience, from our communications.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sepulveda, this is a recommendation. The administration recommends approval of the first final report as presented. My apologies for that oversight.
I make the motion to approve.
I second it.
We have a motion to approve, second by Ms. Gallo-Avitia. Any discussion? Ms. Gonzalez? Mr. Escobar?
Aye.
Ms. Morales? Mr. Morales?
Aye.
Mr. Spence?
Aye.
Ms. Gallo-Avitia?
Aye.
Mr. Flores?
Aye.
Mr. Sepulveda? Aye. 7-0. Motion passes. Dr. Hill.
Thank you, board.
Okay, we got a board agenda item. Cotton Valley Early College High School School Program Update, Fall 2020. Mr. Prado.
At this time, I'll turn this over to Mr. Tony Prado, who will be making the presentation. Tony Prado, principal of Fabens High School.
Thank you, Dr. Vigil, Board President Sepulveda, and board members. Thank you for the time to present tonight. At this time, I will share my screen. Okay, so thank you for your time tonight. I will go over some updates to enrollment, credit hours, as well as some information on the new early college high school blueprint. The mission statement for Cotton Valley Early College is Cotton Valley Early College will provide students a unique educational opportunity excuse me, to attend both high school and college in a special campus environment that will challenge students to excel in their academic and personal endeavors. Students will have the opportunity to earn a high school diploma and a 2-year associate's degree upon graduation. This slide gives you an idea of numbers of enrollment for Cotton Valley Early College. Later on in the information part of the blueprint, I will highlight areas where enrollment, as I'm sure several of you may be wondering, how is enrollment doing? So we are sustaining our enrollment in spite of the pandemic and in spite of San Eli, Tornillo opening early colleges as well. So this slide should give you an idea of the enrollment of our current population of students. Okay, moving right along, looking at the college credit hours earned by class going all the way back to 2014. So looking at this year's students, so you have the freshmen at the bottom for class of 2024. So that number of students, of course, the credit hours will be at 0 because they haven't earned anything yet. So looking at sophomores for 2023, juniors for 2022, and then this year's seniors for 2021, you have the number of credit hours there, and then the number of years that they have been at Cotton Valley Early College. And then you have the total number of credit hours kids have earned over that number of years. To equate that to money, because as a parent myself, I would want to see what is my bang for the buck if my kid is going to be enrolled in an early college or taking dual credit courses. So you have an idea of the money, the total monetary value on that right-hand side. So looking at UTEP, and of course, this is not including books or other fees. So just the credit hours you have for UTEP, it's over $6 million. And then comparing to UT Austin, the number of credit hours, a little over $10 million. So always when you take dual credit courses in high school, you will save yourself some money down the road. Okay. Now looking at the number of credit hours within EPCC and UTEP. So currently, we just have our seniors, and that's how it has traditionally been. We just have seniors attending UTEP. So we have the seniors at UTEP with 34 credit hours, and then the seniors have the 2004 credit hours. But with several programs that we're looking at bringing to not just Fabens High School, but for Cotton Valley early college students to benefit from, notably teaching and hopefully health science. Hopefully we will find ways to get students to partake in hours at UTEP sooner. So this gives you an idea of the breakdown between EPCC and UTEP. Okay, moving along with the information of the new early college high school blueprint from TEA. So Cotton Valley Early College is definitely a well-established early college program. So when you're looking at data that has to be submitted with TEA and how we meet our designation, you're looking at the bottom, you see outcomes-based measures. And so I'm going to outline those in the next few slides, which you should be able to connect with some of those previous slides with enrollment, because those are some of the things that are required with the blueprint. areas that they look at for products that we have to submit for the blueprint. So you have benchmark 1. For benchmark 1 at Cotton Valley Early College, we ensure we reach out to students who are first generation college students and at risk. So that is how you address your target population, which in the next coming slides, you'll see that we definitely do a good job of that with the target population. Benchmark 2 is the partnership agreement, and that is specifically with El Paso Community College. So how are we working with El Paso Community College to support the program, which we definitely have a great relationship with El Paso Community College, with our liaison dean, Joshua Villalobos at Mission College, and then Dean Tony Badillo, which oversees all dual credit programs. Benchmark 3 is the leadership initiatives. So that all that does is outline the regular meetings between campus leadership, the El Paso Community College leadership, and to just make sure that those meetings are ongoing, to make sure that each partner is supporting the students. Benchmark 4 is curriculum and support. So you'll see in the data shortly that requires students to make sure that they're earning the college credits towards the core curriculum, but hopefully obtain an associate's degree. Benchmark 5, academic rigor and readiness. So that that outlines preparation for TSI testing. And then last but not least, benchmark 6 is the school design. So does the early college have dedicated staff, which it definitely does. It has the principal, myself. It has an assistant principal that oversees the early college program, Miss Maria Villarreal. And it has a counselor dedicated to the early college program, Miss Susana Jones. And then it has our partners, which I just mentioned, Dean Villalobos at Mission, the Mission branch of EPCC, and Dean Tony Badillo, which oversees all dual credit for EPCC. Areas where you can look for the blueprint products that we are working on right now for the designation application, and that's due in January. So you can go to that link, or you can use your phone to pull up that, use that QR code to go to the website for the blueprint products, which we're working on getting on the website. Okay, so now to tie in data to that information, which I mean, when you look at it the first time, it could be information overload. Even kind of looking at this slide, being a math person myself, that's like a bombardment of information. So the green check marks are what you want to look at. So to give you guys a rough idea, so the first column is your data indicators. So what are we looking at? The next column is provisional early college. So that will be your new early colleges. So Tornillo and Sanelli, they will be looking at provisional early college. In our case, we're looking at the early college. We want to continue our designation as an early college, of course. But as you'll see in a lot of our data, which definitely helps the district with our CCMR rating, is the distinctions. So looking at the data, so the first data indicator, so how are we addressing our at-risk students? How are we enrolling them? So we have a green check mark under early college because we should easily meet that. You'll see the data comparison on the right-hand side, which you'll see that we definitely meet that. Right under the at-risk students, you'll see economically disadvantaged students. So is it no more than 10 percentage points under the district? It definitely is. And then the next two, English learners and students with disabilities, they don't take that data into consideration anymore for the new blueprint. Nonetheless, if you look at the distinctions, are we enrolling all students in those categories? At risk, economically disadvantaged, English learners, students with disabilities? And it makes me happy to say that, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. This is Cotton Valley Early College. We are creating opportunities for students here. So our current freshman, our freshman class is 88%. So creating those opportunities for students. So that's your first access outcomes-based measures. Moving right along. Now we have our attainment outcomes-based measures. And so, yes, it's a lot of information, it's a lot of data. And I do believe the packet that you have, I will pinpoint right in the middle, you have earning 15 college credits. I do believe that there's a typo on the packet that was submitted to you. And the number should actually be what you see on the presentation right now. So it should be 66%. So I apologize for that typo. But so now to connect the dots from the previous slides about enrollment, looking at the first data indicator, you have persistence of 9th grade students. So are they staying within the program? Which definitely they are. Look at the current calculation. So it's an average of the last 2 years. The current calculation is about 93%. So looking at the enrollment from that previous slide from the very beginning, are we keeping the same number of students? We definitely are. So the data right now shows us that we should earn a distinction for that. Okay, moving right along. Earning 9 college credits. The data right now shows us that we should earn a distinction because we are at 52%. So hopefully we can get that distinction and remain at 52%. Okay, so now the earning 15 college credits by the time students get to graduating. So don't go by the typo, I apologize. The number is actually 66%. And that, with the new blueprint, in meeting with our designated coach by TEA, in the summer, she did outline that the new blueprint should make some of these areas easier to attain for a lot of early colleges, which is actually why this area is, there should be a lot of distinctions for Cotton Valley Early College. So moving right along. So the Texas core curriculum, are students earning that? Definitely they are. So we would assume that by the end of the year, we will earn a distinction there. And then do we have students earning a post-secondary degree? Are they getting an associate's or any level 1 or level 2 certifications with their associates? So we should continue the designation as an early college there. Our students, so the next one is graduation rate for the early college, and comparing it to the state, we should definitely earn a distinction there. And then we're still looking into this one. This is a direct to college enrollment into a 2-year or 4-year institution. So we do have a lot of students and earning their associates as well as moving on to UTEP. So areas to look at there, areas where we're still looking at the data. That way, by the end of the year, we know exactly what that number is. We are looking at using the National Clearinghouse data to make sure we get that data as accurate as possible. Okay. Last but not least, with the outcomes-based measures. So this slide will highlight the testing. So TSI testing and your EOC testing, end of course exam for Algebra 1 and English 2, and the CCMR on SAT or ACT. So currently we have asterisks here. Although we do have some data on Algebra 1 EOC because of the students from the previous year that had taken the Algebra 1 EOC. So those are actually students that were in probably pre-AP geometry last school year. So this slide is pretty much the result of COVID. So COVID hit, the pandemic happened, and so TSI testing is usually ramped up in March, April, and May. And those created a lot of headaches, not just for us, but for a lot of the schools and school districts in the region, as well as the state. And so the state, as well as EPCC and all other colleges and universities, came up with criteria to allow students placement into college courses this year. Thankfully, that has helped our incoming freshmen start their college careers with EPCC. So this data is still ongoing, but it makes me very happy to say that the way we have had end of course testing this week, if you have not heard, for students that need to retake their exams. And it was online testing, and it has gone so smoothly. And I attribute that to the hard work of Maria Villarreal, Alex Navarro, and Mario Dominguez, and the rest of his IT department. So with that said, TSI testing, I see us doing it online and it going pretty smoothly in the spring. So with COVID, I see us able to bring students in safely, being able to test them safely to make sure we're looking at TSL. Okay. This concludes my presentations. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Prado. That was a information item only.
You're welcome.
Dr. Reed?
Yes, sir, it was information item only. Thank you very much, Mr. Prado, and your team for your continued efforts with all of our students, and in particular, the cost savings that they are receiving with the numbers that you showed us. We're ready to move to the next item, Mr. Sepulveda.
Dr. Reed, we're still in the second part of it.
Have we moved on to letter C, Mr. Sepulveda?
Yes.
Okay, item C, letter C, items 1 and 2, I would like to pull from the agenda. We did receive an 11th hour possible funding source that we would like to explore. And we'll bring this back to you when we have more information. So at this time, we are asking that this item be pulled from the agenda.
So done. So item C, pulled.
So that was item C, and that It takes us to item D, correct, Mr. Sepulveda?
That is correct.
We do have language, yes, here it is up there. The administration recommends the approval of the awarded contract for printer copy machine services contract to Spectrum pending contract review from legal counsel. I believe that Mr. Dominguez has a response regarding one of the comments from earlier today. Mr. Dominguez?
Yes, Dr. Vigil, Mr. Sepulveda, members of the board. Yes, we did receive a comment and some questions from a couple of the vendors that provided quotes. I did address those questions to the vendor via email. They had emailed me the questions first, and then they submitted the questions for comment to the board. So those questions have been addressed, and with the questions. So if you have any other questions.
Thank you, and I just read the recommendation from administration, Mr. Sepulveda.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion, Mr. Spence. Second by Mr. Flores. Any discussion? Okay, put it to a question, to a vote. All those in favor? Starting with Ms. Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez. She said aye. Mr. Escobar.
Aye.
Mr. Morales.
Aye.
Mr. Spence.
Aye.
Ms. Rosemary Gallo-Avitia.
Aye.
Mr. Flores.
Aye.
Mr. Sepulveda. 7-0. Motion passes. Okay, Dr. Vigil brings us up to the next part of it.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sepulveda, that takes us to the number 6, adjourn.
Yes.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Motion being made to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Morales.
Second by Mr. Morales. All those in favor? Here we go. Starting with Ms. Gonzalez. Aye. Mr. Escobar.
Aye.
Mr. Morales.
Aye.
Mr. Spence.
Aye.
Ms. Rosemary Gallo-Avitia.
Aye.
Mr. Flores.
Aye.
Mr. Sepulveda. Aye. 7-0. This meeting is adjourned at 8:24. Thank you. Thank you all for showing up for today's meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays.